All right, ladies and gentlemen. So we have the Axion update coming out on August 7th. We have the Axiom demo out right now. If you've signed up for it, you get access to it. It may be free for everybody, but the update does more than just right. So the demo does more than just show us now, right? That's what I'm trying to say. It does more than just show us now. It gives us access to Bunny, gives us access to Ultimate Freyna and Nail. The big selling point here is Nail. So instead of talking about it, let's be about it. Let's see Nail. Nail's kit is very unique. Is all right, so she has like the only skill in the game that works with. I want to say she has the only skill in the game that works with the Exceed scan. So they had to find a reason to make this Exceed scan thing work. So again, I'll read the brief summary of it. Fires a barrage of breach shards, dealing damage to hit enemies. If the enemy hit is inflicted with the Exceed scan, an additional effect is triggered. The additional effect is gaze into the abyss, cooldown reduction, all that. So our next ability is breach link. See, these skills are getting more beefy. They're getting beefier. Creates an arc breach design designated location. Creates an arc breach at a designated location, inflicts a debuff on enemies, and creates an arcade breach, and spawns an anti-gravity field on the ground. The debuff of the arcade breach intensifies over time and further weakens adaptive defense. All right. So adaptive defense is what the new enemies in the Axion, is it Axion fields? What they have. Reusing the skill retrieves the arcade breach. On retrieval, the anti-gravitational field disappears, dealing explosion damage to the area around it and refunding a portion of the cooldown. So the other skills get shorter. Detonates an arcade breach, causing a gravitational reversal. This pulls enemies in. So it brings everybody together. Now, they have this thing in the game. It's called Toad. Towed. Toad. If they if Toad is a thing, I don't know why they call it Toad, but they do. What's his name? Lepic does toe. Valby used to do toe. If they're not going to do anything with that verbiage, they need to change Toad. Right? It sounds silly anyway, but that's what it seems like. That's what it does. It tows the enemies together, right? Let's see. Gaze of the Abyss grants Gaze of the Abyss all firearm attacks from Nail target weak points, increasing the weak point damage of herself and nearby allies while Gaze of the Abyss is active. Hitting a target inflicted with a Exceed Gaze with a breach shard increases the duration of Gaze of the Abyss. So grants a little bit of a self buff. Now, the arcade tuning we can see for Bunny, and we can see what they kind of got her into, what they're using up here. So if you wanted to mimic their style of what they got going on here for them, then you can do that. They don't have any other settings. You can't manipulate it, right? And then we go to the other group, to Freyna, see what they got here, see what they got here in this slot. Now, even though they got this going on, it does seem like hopefully someone realized, be like, man, it'd be nice if I had 10 more extra points. I do feel like it needs 10 more extra points at least for that. So if you want to use that, then we'll look at Nail. They've kitted her out as a gun descendant. So that's what she's supposed to be mimicking here, as a Enzo female version that does her own thing with the darkness. And you can see that this is still in its original like format. It ain't probably gonna get no update here until it rolls out for America. So we have the Descendant, we have that, we have the well the inventory for each character. Each character does rock the same thing. So it's going to be this, it's going to be that. So we click on Freyna, click on the details. Whoop. What? Oh, inventory. So messed that up. It's going to be the same for each character, regardless. Even if I can't click on it, it's going to be the same. You got the new eraser, then you have exterminator. So did not mean to go in here with bunny. Did not meant to go in here with nail. So let's look at nail. Nail, the UI overall looks good. I want to say that I messed with the settings and it looked better with ray tracing off. As you can see with the ray tracing on, this is a PS5, not Pro. This is just a PS5, and the ray tracing kind of makes it look a bit weird. I don't know if that's because it's in between models or whatnot. So let's look at the actual meat and potatoes here of the eraser. So the eraser is this high powered it's like a, what is it called, like a rail gun. It looks like a rail gun. The other one, so we have a rail gun and then we have a multi-shot rocket launcher. This says it's a scout rifle, but I mean, you can see how it shoots. You can see how it shoots. Let me turn on the sound so you could hear it. It seems like the shots are coming from my left side and then they hit their target. I don't know why it does that. Let's look at the details for that. So again, it's going to be it's got fire, it's got toxic attack. Everything's getting toxic attack. They're really obsessed with toxic attack. I don't know who is this supposed to be for with a toxic attack like specialty. It could have just remained neutral. They want to just give an element to something. Toxic attack, and it seems like it specializes in firearm crit rate. It's a scout. It's a scout. So weak points are going to be up. Crit rate's going to be up. Crit rate damage is going to be minimal, right? The unique ability, which everyone probably wants to know, on hitting an enemy, grants analyze. Analyze converts to degrade at max stack. So we have a thing doing a thing. While degrade is in effect, firing creates degrading enzymes on hit location. Enemies hit by degrading enzymes suffer weakened adaptive defense. Again, this is unique to what we have going on here with the adaptive defense. And I really wish hovering over it would show you what adaptive defense was, like what adaptive defense exactly is. But the adaptive defense, if I'm correct, is when you use an element against an enemy, they become more resistant to it, like almost immediately. So your shots become less effective. This would be better if it wasn't toxic, if it was neutral. So it's letting you like cleanse the enemy and then go back to your other weapon. If you wanted to use the new and improved weapons, use this to erase them with a neutral game, because if you're using now, it's going to be resistance to toxic. But again, so then we have the exterminator. The exterminator is a, again, multi-hit rocket launcher. Its main thing is to take down big groups of enemies, things out the sky, and the rockets are aim assisted, so they hone in on enemies. They have a lock on mechanic, and it's an auto aiming system. The unique ability, while holding the aim button, automatically designates targets on screen. When firing, fires explosive rounds at the targeted enemies. Explosive rounds deal additional damage to cluster stacks, cluster tunnels. Assault ships have a powerful effect on special units such as razor claws and steel pincers. Now, I don't remember which one they said that this is going to be, if this was going to be like the... Do we have seasonal track weapons? It's like I want to say that's a battle pass weapon. So we got these battle pass weapons coming. So I don't remember if the eraser is going to be there or that. We also have the new modules, components, external components. And this one seems more tailored towards nail. And So the weak point damage with a firearm grants 1 stack of trajectory analyst. Trajectory analyst deals ricochet damage to enemies hit. So it's like it's good. I can see this being good on Haley. So if you wanted to use the Snow Watcher, I think that's what the Frost Watcher. The weak point attack with a firearm grants 1 stack of trajectory analyst up to 2 stacks at 10 seconds duration. When attacking a weak point, it deals ricochet damage around the enemy. So we're already doing like ricochet damage with the Albion Cavalry. And if you use her Frost Watcher, it completely nullifies the slow movement effect. The Albion Cavalry also does that. So I mean, if you already built into it, you're not really losing out on that whole thing. But this seems like it can give more agency to scout rifles when wanting to, like, you hit a target, you hit another target next to it. We're getting more into area of effect. Then they put on a non-elemental, non-attribute. There we go. A non-attribute skill cooldown effect range. So the modules that they got her built into: skill cooldown, HP collector, HP. They mainly, like, I did it again. They gave her a little bit of defense, but they mainly put her into the weapons category with the shot focus and how her arcade tree is looking. So she got all the cooldowns, all the base stuff, right? All the base stuff. This stuff, if it's so basic, on each character to have, why not have like 2 separate module areas? We can put the base on a character and then get our build higher with another row of attack or defensive stuff. Maybe be unique to each descendant, what they can equip on there, specialty things like the arcade tuning. Like, you know, people are gonna be like, oh, it's arcade tuning. More than arcade tuning, because these modules make a big deal. The arcade tuning makes a big deal. All this stuff makes a big deal. But we're using the same stuff. Even the devs are using the same stuff, and that's a big deal, in my opinion. That's still going on. So there's also the new little bike. I'm not going to go through the whole mission because this video is already long enough, and you could see this again. This is PlayStation 5 ray tracing on. I'm going to shoot some enemies with some of the guns and do some of her abilities. So that's her Exceed thing. Those enemies are hit with that. That's her 2. That's her 3 to bring everybody in. And that's her 4. So a better player than myself can use their weapons better. But I'm just giving you a brief demonstration of what's going down. Right? This is the racer. Whoops. I'm going to end up dying there. Right? So, on the attack, shoots out. With a bunch of enemies. It's not bad. It's gonna be good for. I think it's gonna be good for Glay mains. Not gonna be bad. It's gonna give. I don't know if many people will stop using the Ancient Relic. I want to say that's what it's called, the Ancient Relic, that shoots out all the explosions now. It kind of hones in on enemies. There we go. We got another ship here. And then when you shoot it out the sky, it counts as killing all the enemies. So, maxed out arcade tune in. They got a maxed out mastery build. The game, it's looking better. So, like, I would turn ray tracing off. I turned it on. I'd have to turn it off in the main menu. Hopefully it don't look too bad as I'm demonstrating it. But to me, looking at it on my screen, it looks like clap cheeks, and I don't particularly like that. You know, that's kind of weird to say for the First Descendant, and you know everyone likes clap cheeks. But anyway, I digress. Jiggle physics turned to the max. This is just a little gun they want you to kind of pick up. I think they're going to be putting more of these experimental guns into the game. I do wish Ajax had this for his super, I guess, his four, like the dome, and he took out a gun of this nature, of that magnitude, because he carries it around with him in his little descriptive page. But anyway, the demo was good. The bike is jank. The bike is super jank. It's floaty. It don't feel like it's grounded. It feels like someone just put your Descendant on a slider and you just move with it. Not the best. It don't feel like a Sparrow from Destiny. It don't feel like a skateboard from Warframe. It don't even feel like the horse from Diablo. It needs some weight work to it to make it feel like it's actually, like you're not just gonna fly off the thing. If you played the demo, you know what I'm talking about. It's not good. It's a thing that happened. It's a thing in the game, but could I have lived without it? Probably. You could have gave me just one more charge of my grapple, of how we've been moving this whole time. So that's that's how I feel about the hover bike. If I'm gonna be moving almost as fast as Bunny, if not uh, almost as fast as Bunny, kind of should just gave me just an extra charge or whatever. The bike is cool if you're trying to look at physics, but other than that, again, turn ray tracing off if your console can't handle it, PS5 can't handle it. Don't It looks like cheeks. Look at the dog. Look at the dog. Looks bad. Maybe on PC it looks better. But her overall aesthetic, Nail to me with this hairstyle, right? Closing this up with her hairstyle, with the way she looks right now, she kind of looks like another character. I know they all kind of look similar, right? They all kind of look same, but Nail, I felt, had a different look to her face, like it was a bit more square. At least that's what I thought. Maybe I'm looking at it too deep, but it looks like they gave her someone else's face, someone else's jawline. This ain't Nail. It's only Nail in name. It ain't Nail in character. Agree with me if you agree with me, disagree with me if you do. But that is the demo. If you played it, it's very short. The wall crasher, the scenes are cool, but as you look at her from one trailer to the next and come back here, hopefully, I doubt that they're gonna fix it. She's just another skin that's doing a whole bunch of samey stuff with a different skill set, right? But let me know if you think that they changed Nail based off of the PS5 update that's coming out and closing out on PS4s. Hopefully, they get some of these things tweaked in and dialed in. But so far, it's fair. But I'm looking forward to just PS5 exclusivity, or PC and Xbox, or no, PC, PlayStation type of like honing in so they can direct all their focus to us. And for anyone say like them closing down on PS4 was a bad move, they got a low player count, blah blah blah. Again, some games thrive when they thrive, some games die when they die. But they did it for a reason. They weighed the pros and cons and was just like, we get enough money with just the one, we can lose that money somewhere else. When you're making money hand over fist, you can pick and choose who you want to be cool with. That's that's kind of true, right? When you making that much money, you can choose who you want to be cool with. Helldivers did it, so First Descendants doing it. Other games are jumping on the boat. I mean, it's been 5 years. That's like, you know, um, we keep talking about PS4. We're talking about PS4 like a bad ex. It's been 5 years. Move on. There's something new. There's a new hotness, a new model. So yeah, the PS6 will come out before some of these people get new consoles, and maybe Sony is banking on that in the first place. So get in where you fit in, like, share, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one.